Hey you guys, today I just wanted to do a quick, really beginner overview of juicing. I've had a few clients lately I found really needed the juicing because they weren't able to eat for other reasons, eat as much solid foods or as much protein and things like that, but they were really under calories, and when you're really under calories or undernourished, there's a lot of bad side effects. So oftentimes nutritionists will put people on more of a liquid diet in order to restabilize themselves, sort of, and get back on track and sort of reprogram their bodies or their endocrine systems. So, but anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys briefly a little bit about juicing, and then I don't know, let's just dive right in here and sort of see a little bit about what I do. So it takes some trial and error with getting your flavors right. So, you know, how you want it to taste to you and your taste, it's going to be different from somebody else. So I had to play around with this quite a bit when I first started juicing to find out because I like green juices. I want to get as much vitamins as I can, and of course, if you're having too much sugar, that can also be negative as well. And so, you know, doing all fruit juices isn't necessarily the best thing either. So when you're doing greens, you know, how do you make greens taste good when they're just raw and juiced through a juicer? And I have found, for me, it's lemons. So I use one lemon, a whole lemon for every juice that I make with greens. And I usually use kale and spinach for my greens. I use different stuff too, but those are the two main ones that I can find pretty easily in the grocery store. So when you're juicing and you're using a regular juicer, so I've got a very basic, just the Jack LaLanne. This has been around sort of, you know, forever. This was one of the very first juicers that was on the market, but now it's so efficient that they've kept the model around forever. And I've had this one, I bought this one used for like $35 years ago. It still works great for me, but now you can get them at Costco for around $100. So you do want to, when you're juicing, you're going to want to go back and forth between your harder, your root vegetables and your greens, and then you wash that through the juicer with some more liquid type vegetables. So for that, I use cucumbers, the lemons, tomatoes, and even celery has quite a bit of water content, so that works a little bit, or that works pretty well to wash that through the juicer. And then you just want to go back and forth between, so like today I've got, let's see what I've got here. I've got some, let's see, we've got beets. I'm doing cucumbers. I've kind of already prepped these a little bit here. Celery, and I'm going to do carrots and lemons. And I got to go grab the lemons here in just a second. But so let me run and grab that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I do when I'm prepping juice, I usually prep a few days ahead of time every time I'm doing it, because I don't want to have to get out all of the vegetables and stuff every time. And if I have it just a gallon baggie that already has one serving of vegetables already in there, it's just a lot easier, not to mention easier cleanup and all that. Just time, it gets a little time consuming. So, so what I do is I cut these into... Let me make sure you guys can all see what I'm doing here. Let me prop you down a little bit. Okay, so so what I do is I take my I'm gonna break these into packets. So you just it's really basic. Most vegetables you can even it's kind of cool because you can even use the peelings and the rinds. Like if you're doing watermelon, you can use the watermelon rind, and it's even higher in vitamins than it is than the fleshy part of the fruit is. So they recommend that you juice the entire, you know, the entire watermelon if you can. So, all right. So, what I do with the celery, all you have to do really is wash the ends off. Make sure that the dirt is, you know, that there's not a bunch of dirt on the ends like there is on this piece, you know, right here. Just kind of rinse them off, and then I just wipe them down real quick, and then I just cut them in half for easier to get down the chute on the juicer. So same with carrots. Carrots, I just cut the ends off. You don't have to peel carrots for juicing or anything like that. And the organic carrots, I really don't have to peel very much anyway, I found. So, you know, the skins are just really nice. They're not, you know, when you buy the organic ones, for some reason, they're just nicer anyway. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the ends off here, and that's going to be it. All right, so I will go ahead and get some of this prepped, and then I will meet you back here. Okay, so I've done a little bit of prepping here, and one thing that came to my mind as I was doing with this is the lemons. So the small citrus fruits, you don't want these to, you don't want to eat the peelings on these. You don't want to juice the peelings on the citrus fruits because those can be toxic. If you know anything about essential oils or whatever, ingesting too much of that can be bad for you. So I just simply cut the peeling off. It just goes a little bit faster, and I'll show you that real quick. So I just cut around the lemon like that until I get to the flesh. Some of the white flesh in there isn't going to hurt anything, but you just kind of want to get as much of that. It's also kind of a strong flavor when you do that. So just cut some of that off of there. Make sure that you've got most of it off, and then I cut it in half and run it so that I can run it through the juicer in 2 separate pieces to wash down some of those, some of the harder vegetables. So I've done my carrots and my celery, and then I got my cucumber from earlier that I've already prepped. So all I have left now is to chop up the beets just a little bit. You don't even have to do very much on the beets. I cut the stems off, and that's about it. And then I'm just going to cut it a couple times so that it'll fit in the juicer nicely. And that's going to be about, I do it in about fourths in the size of a beet. So that should be fine. For one juice, I do about half a cucumber, half of a beet, a full carrot, possibly carrot and a half, and same with the celery stalk to a celery stalk and a half. And then from there, the full lemon, and that's about it for one juice. So let me pack up a couple of these juices and get them in the bags, and then we'll finish this off by running the juice through. Okay, so I got my veggies prepped into some different bags with everything except for the greens. So I've got the greens out now, and I'm going to sort those also into their individual bags with the other stuff. And I also bought some curly parsley just to add for vitamins and a little bit more greens and give it a little bit more flavor. So it tastes really good that way. And so I'm going to add some of that to my juice as well. So, all right. Look how pretty that is. Love parsley. Okay, so, all right. So let me show you what I got here. So we've got, I've got 3 packs for the next 3 days made up. And you can see in here we've got cucumber, we got our celery and our beets in there, as well as our lemons in there. So then I know it looks like a ton of vegetables. So it's heavy. It's quite a bit of fruits or of vegetables, I guess. We're not putting just the lemon for fruits in there, but and then when you get your greens in there, it's even more. So you won't believe this. So I'm gonna get I'm just gonna get the juicer going here, and we'll get started. Okay, you guys. So this is how much produce we're gonna end up putting in our juice. So it's quite a bit, it's way more, I think, vegetables than anybody's going to eat without, you're going to be so full if you eat all of these vegetables. But when you put it through the juicer, not only are you getting all of those vitamins that are easy to digest because they're already in liquid form, so they essentially go straight into your bloodstream. And you feel it. You feel it right away. You feel more energized. You feel healthy. It's almost addictive because you just feel so good. You know that it's that it's helping your body so much. But you've got, this is just so much this is more than a day's worth of vegetables that's going to be in a pint of liquid. So, all right, I'm going to start the juicer, and then and so it's going to be a little bit loud, but I'm going to leave it on for just a second, let you guys kind of get the gist of what it does, and then I'll show you when we're just about done. So, all right, so let's go ahead and fire it up. All right, so it's not super loud, but once you start getting the veggies in there, you're going to see it's a little bit louder. So, all All right, so I'm going to start off and get the juicer a little bit wet, so I'm going to use one of my cucumbers to start with. I'm going to put a couple of carrots in there. Do some kale. I always like to get the kale out of the way kind of in the beginning because it's one of the harder ones to wash through, so. Oh, it smells so good. Alright. Gonna get our parsley through there. And you can just shove it all in there. It's just fine. Okay, almost done. And the rest of our carrots with some about there. Alright, so I got a quarter of a beet and half of a lemon, and then we're done. So that lemon's going to wash all the rest of that stuff out into the cup. One more little piece of cucumber in there. There we go. Alright, so that's it. So when you add the beets in, it turns it from a green juice to a brown juice, but it tastes really good. So, you saw how much greens we put in there, though. It's definitely a green juice. Alright, so. Alright. So you can see now, you know, this is so yummy. This really, you know, it doesn't look so great, but I promise you, I crave this stuff. It's really delicious. So let me pour this into a cup, and then we'll be all done. So all right, so now I am just going to pour it in my cup. See, it's almost exactly a pint, almost exactly 16 ounces. And then it looks like that one is done. But it is so good. Oh, this is really, really good. And it's refreshing. So on summer, you know, it's hot out and summer days and stuff, and when you're really thirsty, it actually really hits the spot. So, all right, so there's our little tutorial for today. I highly recommend juicing. It's really, really good for you. There's not a lot that compares to it, and I've seen it done do miraculous things for people, including, you know, I had a friend whose hair had gone almost completely gray, and she, after juicing for about 4 or 5 months, her hair was actually, the pigment in her hair came back to brown. So, you know, it's just crazy what your body does when you have the right nutrients in it. And then vegetables, you only get your phytochemicals from vegetables, and the phytochemicals are, you know, on a cellular level, they're just amazing for your body. So, all right, well, you guys all have a great day, and if you have any questions about juicing or anything else, go ahead and feel free to reach out to me at either talachiwellness@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook, Jeray Pearson. I have groups, and then I also have my private Jeray Pearson page and the Talachi Wellness page on Facebook, so you can find me all over the place. But all right, cheers, have a great day.